So today on the news, they show a group, a militia group that came to Los Angeles, and they were started years ago, and their name is called Oath Keepers. And so today they bowed out of a planned protest at Maxine Waters' office in LA. And there was a heated confrontation because they weren't welcome in particular. So it reads that in the Daily News, Oath Keepers bowed out of a planned protest at Maxine Waters' Los Angeles office by Nancy Dillion. So you see the confrontation here. And they weren't particularly welcome because people were informed what this group's position is. So people in the counter protest confront two men outside the LA area office of Maxine Waters. So the Oath Keepers broke their pledge. A right-wing militia group failed to show at a planned protest outside Congresswoman Maxine Waters' office in southern Los Angeles Thursday after publicizing the event online. So it says the group founder, Stuart Rhodes, said that the group bowed out at the request of the LA police after Waters supporters started gathering at the office Thursday morning. And why is that? Because they weren't welcome, because people are starting to take aware that these groups are now coming to the LA area and they're going to these meetings, and these groups are carrying assault style rifles. So the group founder, Stuart Rhodes, said that they bowed out because of police. But they strongly advise us not to proceed, Rhodes told the Daily News in a brief phone interview on Thursday evening. So Rhodes said that he never planned to attend the event in person and that it was organized by his group's California chapter. It was peaceful. We didn't want to have any issues, a source with the LAPD told the news. Okay, so I think that they probably made the smartest decision we've made in a long time, community resident Cliff Smith said in a phone interview after attending the counter protest. Smith, the organizer of the union representing hundreds of local roofers, wore his hard hat and carried a sign that reads "Down with Trump." So don't mess with our Queen Maxine, reads another sign held by a counter protester, according to the live stream of the event, which Twitch TV users who goes by the name I'm Really Important. Smith said 15 members of the union showed up to support Waters, that the 2 or 3 people who appeared and raised people's antennas with their right-leaning rhetoric were shown their way out of the area. So there were a couple of people who potentially might have been sniffing around for the Oath Keepers, but nobody really following through on the action, he said. So in other words, I guess they had people looking around to kind of survey the scene to see if it was safe for them to go there to protest, because they're in another jurisdiction that isn't of their own, none that they're familiar with, and they don't know what kind of people they're going to encounter, which that was the case today. And so Waters, known for being one of the president's most outspoken critics, became a target of the group after she made comments urging people to confront White House officials as they encountered them in public. And so in a statement on Wednesday, Waters pressed her supporters to stand down. And so Oath Keepers would like nothing more than to inflame racial tension and create explosive conflicts in the community, she said in a statement posted on social media. So in order to ensure peace and security of our community, it is best and preferable if no other demonstrations are scheduled. And so the Southern Poverty Law Center describes the Oath Keepers as one of the largest radical anti-government groups in the U.S. today. And so The thing with this group, it says, while it claims only to be defending the Constitution and the entire organization is based and set on baseless conspiracies about the federal government working to destroy the liberties of Americans, and the center says this, Rhodes disputed that claim. He says that the characterization on that he disputed his characterization of his group. He says that on Thursday, saying that his group does not foment violence and is completely non-racist. And so that's not several videos on social media, and you can see them in other areas. They even were in Ferguson. And so you can see them on videos where they're carrying assault style rifles. Some view them, I guess they're vets and police officers. And so they have some people that introduce them for what their position is, but they are relatively a right-wing group, and they're more radicalized. And so it's threatening when you see a group of ex-cops or guys that were, militarized, and they come military style and dressed in all their, camouflage. And so that doesn't exactly sit well with communities, local smaller areas of people of color. And then you see a group of white people dressed military style. And they claim that they're oath keepers. So that didn't relatively go off very well, as you see right here. And so that's the reaction that people got, even if they're in plain clothes and they look like they're from outside somewhere. People have kind of read up and they saw some of the videos on these people. And so it didn't sit well. So that was what happened today. So what are your thoughts, your feedback, comment on these groups? There's another group too, who was here in LA, and a fight broke out. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they call themselves the Proud Boys. And they're also a pretty, I would say, a radical group. And so these groups seem like they're cropping up out of nowhere. In other words, we haven't seen this in, I don't know how long we haven't seen this, but it's happening now. It's in an uptick now because of who we have as president. So this is the reaction that they got today over by Maxine Waters' office. They weren't welcomed. And so what are your thoughts, feedback, comment on this? And if you want to look at this Oath Keepers group and you want to see where they're from, there's several videos that have circulated about the group and their origin and what their intent is. But it didn't sit well. It didn't feel comfortable with having a group like that come. And they've already kind of been like a threat to Maxine Waters and to the residents that support her. They feel threatened by having this group show up in real time like this. And then during the sentiment that is happening today, it did not go off well. Well, this is pretty much the article. And it is probably going to be on the news of the confrontation of what happened when they showed up. Thanks for listening.